Hello, this is Deacon Jody Moscona. Thank you for joining me on this kind of video way of continuing my monthly newsletter that I had done for many months. It just became a little bit arduous as I was studying for my master's degree to continue to actually write the newsletters out. Um, and so I decided to start doing them orally, virtually. And with the COVID, we kind of fell off a little bit. We haven't had many. What I'm going to try to do now, instead of doing this on Facebook Live, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this, and then I'm going to send it to my email, and I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel. And so I will post it on Facebook, and I hope that everybody sees this. Will go to my YouTube channel and subscribe and like it, and hopefully hit the button with the little alarm, and you'll be notified when I do some more of these, which I hope will be on a more regular basis. Um, you know, when I was doing the newsletter, it was spirituality, news, and ethics, and I try to cover all three every time with what was going on. Um, and I'd like to try to throw out there a few ideas for you um, today on the heels of the Vatican issuing a directive that Catholic clergy cannot bless, quote unquote, um, unions between persons of the same sex. And I want to give you a little bit of a historical note that when the Supreme Court voted about gay marriage, I actually wrote a newsletter for the church I was at the time, saying that I was a little bit apprehensive um, at this result because someday some couple was going to present themselves to me to do a marriage of same-sex partners, and by me refusing, I thought that it could result in um, criminal um, problems. And my pastor at the time was not in agreement. He didn't let me put that in the newsletter, in the bulletin. And I still have that apprehension because what the Vatican has done today is basically affirm that in the Catholic Church, the way we view marriage, that it has to be between one man and one woman with the two purposes of marriage. One is the unity of the couple, and the second is procreation and raising of the children. If you don't have those elements, it can't be a marriage. And so it cannot be that two people of the same sex can be married. Um, and the, the Vatican went further to say you can't even bless the union, not call it a marriage, but just bless it, because you can't bless sin. And the reason for that is in the context of um, Catholic belief and faith and our catechism. If you engage in sexual activity outside of a marriage, which once again we just talked about marriage, then you are in a sinful activity. And blessing a union between two people where they are engaging in that kind of activity is sinful activity, and you can't bless sin. So that's a simple way of saying what the Vatican said in a bunch of pages, and I just wanted to maybe use this as an opportunity um, to discuss Catholic marriage and say that in our faith, in the Catholic faith, um, we put marriage on a much higher pedestal than just the civil government does. As a lawyer, when I went through law school, we studied, about the requirements for marriage and divorce, and in that time you had to have grounds for divorce. Mike versus Susan, and there was grounds for it. Now you just mail your paperwork in. There's no fault divorce. You live separate and apart for a period of time, and they just mail you back a judgment of divorce. And so the sanctity, the value of marriage has been going down in the civil sense, and the Catholic Church continues to elevate it. And we say that a union of a man and woman in marriage is a sacrament, and we say that because in Genesis, the very first book of the Bible, it says that in the beginning God made them male and female. He made them. And then it says Adam took Eve to be his wife. It doesn't say woman, it says wife. We believe that marriage was created by God at the beginning of mankind, and that's why the sanctity of marriage is so important. So this has a lot of ramifications. It has, it's news, and I'm just letting you know that the Vatican had released this, and it disappointed some people. There was a story today that Elton John is disappointed about it, and there's a priest, a Catholic priest called Father James Martin, who is way out there promoting homosexual unions, and he's very disappointed in it. And I don't understand why they can be disappointed, because this is just an affirmation of what the Catholic Church dogma and belief has always been. So this is news. How does it relate to morality? Well, morality, it's not sexual morality. The definition in my book of morality is knowing right from wrong and choosing right. And when you choose right, you are making a moral decision. So that decision doesn't have to center around sexuality or anything. It could be decisions on anything. But you know right from wrong and you choose right. That's a moral decision. And I think that what we're looking at here is a lot of people know right from wrong. They just opt to not make the right decision. They are engaged in an activity that gives into same-sex attraction, and for whatever reason they justify it. And I'm not trying to judge anybody. God will judge people, but I can only say that there's a scriptural passage that says a good tree will have good fruit, a bad tree will have bad fruit. A good tree won't have bad fruit, and a bad tree won't have good fruit. And so you can be a fruit inspector. So you look at situations that have a moral context, and you look at the fruit on the tree. You see what the effects of it are, and you see if they're producing good effects. And in a broad general term, this whole notion that's come out with this whole same-sex marriage thing has had a lot of negative effects in society. It's had negative effects in children and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not a scientist, and I'm not saying, take my word for it. I'm just saying that I've seen the effects of it firsthand from a ministry perspective. From a spiritual perspective, I would simply say this. God spun the universe into existence in a certain way, and it's incumbent upon us to adhere to the natural order. And there's no doubt that biologically that there are men and there are women, and that biologically the bodies are complementary, and that's at the heart of existence. And when we ignore that, we're ignoring the natural order. And when we do that, we come into disagreement spiritually with the way God created the natural order. And that gives us a spiritual problem. And that's at the heart of some of the loneliness and upset and problems that people have when they are out of congruence with God. I believe that you put God first, you put your family second, you put whatever you do third to make money after those, and then you put things that you do for fun last. And if you keep that hierarchy, that alignment in order, then you generally are going to be in congruence with the natural order, and hopefully at that point find joy and peace and happiness. So this is just throwing this out for today. I'm going to throw it on there and see if people are even interested in this topic. If you are, give it a thumbs up, and I'll maybe talk about it another time. The next time I come on and do another video, I'm going to talk about the COVID vaccine, because it's a very pertinent topic these days, and a lot of people are curious. As I sign off today, I'd like to just remind you that in all things, God loves you. And if you just hold on to the fact that God loves you, then hopefully responding to that love will give you peace and and make you feel as a fulfilled human being. Take care. God bless.